Hi Chris, thanks for inviting me onto your channel. My name's Sam Davis from Back of the Net. We're the #1 AFC Bournemouth YouTube channel and podcast. We'll be covering this game in detail, including a match day vlog, so you might want to check it out. Hopefully it's nothing like last time with some last minute limbs at Dean Court. Hopefully it's like the away game for us at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That was a special one for us last season. So Bournemouth this season, new head coach, very different style of football, very different philosophy. I think a lot of Premier League fans looked at the sacking of Gary O'Neill and thought it was harsh, and I can maybe kind of understand it if you look at his CV and what he did, where he took Bournemouth from, where he led them to, but it doesn't quite tell the full story. I think sometimes when you're a smaller club in the Premier League, a lot of football fans believe the media narrative, whereas for Bournemouth fans who are watching week in, week out, it was a very difficult watch. And whilst respect does need to be paid to Gary O'Neill, and we all thank him for saving us, we finished with Scott Parker after our 9-0 defeat to Liverpool, and we were in 16th place. Come January, Gary O'Neill took us down to 20th. But then there was an injection of cash upward of £60 million, which for a club like us is absolutely huge. And then these transfers helped to get us over the line, grind out results, and then eventually we got into some kind of rhythm. We were spluttering at times, but it was a decision that was made for the future of the club, and we needed to change it. We needed a style of football to align with the board's vision, and that was Andoni Iraola from Vallecano, who plays this front foot style of football akin to what Eddie Howe did. Some people call it rock and roll, some people call it chaotic, but it's one where high press, high full backs, always moving forward, trying to win the ball back in the opposing side's half. And you know what, so far it's been all right. We've only got a draw and a loss. The loss was against Liverpool, which I suppose could be expected. 9-0 though, so that's all right. But yeah, the home game against West Ham, it showed some fruit. I think that when you've got so many different players coming in terms of transfers, which I'll touch on, playing a new style, I think it's always going to be difficult to gel straight away. And with some movement still to be made in the transfer market, then yeah, I think it's going to be exciting for once. I don't think we'll go down. Like usually Bournemouth fans are very pessimistic, but for me, I don't think that's going to happen this season. I do think we'll be all right. But the transfer window, it's been good. We've signed 5 or 6 new players, including Justin Cliver, the winger, who obviously his name is synonymous with quality football, but that is his dad. Tell you what though, Justin isn't bad either. Our recent signing of Tyler Adams, I think, is a defensive midfielder that we've needed after the loss of Jefferson Lerma. We've also got other names through the door as well, including Max Aarons, the right back for Bournemouth, which we've absolutely needed. Alex Scott coming through as well, and there are others besides. So we're building a side, I think, of young, talented players, so that whatever happens, if we did somehow get relegated, we would be able to claw back the same, if not more, than what we bought them for. So really excited to see how things develop. A lot of these players that we've signed, by the way, aren't quite fit straight away, so they won't be straight in action. What's a successful season? It's always a tricky one, because we know we've got to stay in our lane. We appreciate that. We really do have to stay in our lane. But we're signing all these players, but for us that are quality, we've got a style of football that means we should have more of the ball, be more creative with it. Should be seeing more goals. Defensively, I think that's still a bit of a weakness for us, but we've got pretty much a brand new back four, which we need to gel together. I think a successful season would be an improvement on last season. Our owner came out and said, we're going to go for European football in a few seasons. Like, always worry about that. He's an American owner. We first came into the club and said we won't get relegated on an interview. I thought that's going to be memed up if it all goes wrong. Thankfully, it didn't. So yeah, I think just a slow progression. Look, I'm looking at some of the other sides in the league and I'm thinking, maybe we could sort of finish around sort of 11th, 12th, 13th, maybe even 10th. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. we'll see how it goes this weekend. I think it's going to be a really intriguing game. Really intriguing because, well, I think there's going to be goals. I think there's going to be excitement. I've seen the way that Spurs play and it's so mad. Like when I saw them against Man United, how is it that after 2 games, Postecoglou's got more of an identity than what Eric Ten Hag's side have? Like, obviously there were loads of chances for both sides and Man United were probably guilty of missing a few sitters. I mean, Bruno Fernandes's header and like the woodwork seemed to be struck every 2 minutes in that game. But I really feel as though not having Harry Kane is probably, I don't know, it's like a weight off your shoulders, and that's not meant in a disrespectful way. We all know that Harry Kane is world class, but I think you sort of played a style of football that was kind of based around him, which is good when you've got your star player. But now I think what it's encouraging other players to do is to step up to the plate a little bit. And I think that it's probably a good thing to have a shared responsibility of success. I think last season there were a few players that didn't necessarily perform for Spurs, including Son. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting game with 2 teams that want to go for it. I'd like to think that Bournemouth could shade it, but we'll see how that goes. But in terms of the managerial change, I think it's an exciting time for Spurs. So yeah, really excited to see how it pans out. And some of the new signings you got through the door, like Van der Ven, and I think James Maddison adds that creative spark as well in midfield. I saw him. I think he was in a boot after the last game. So for us, that would be a good thing if he's not included in the lineup. But there are a number of players really for Spurs that I think we should probably look out for. I mean, obviously, Son is an obvious thing to say. Basuma, I think he had 2 good opening games for Spurs, but also a player that caught the eye was Pape Sarr as well. I thought that he was very lively, scored a good opportunities goal, of course, and I don't know, I'm feeling that he could be a player to keep our eyes out for this season. In terms of our predicted lineup, it's going to be fairly difficult to predict, really. I mean, I'll go for Neto in goal. 4 across the back that will probably from right to left be Max Aarons, Ilya Zabani, Marcus Senesi, and then on the left side we'll have Milos Kerkez. Just in front we'll have 2, which will be likely to be Joe Rothwell and Philip Billing. Ryan Christie will probably be in there as well. They'll kind of switch around as the game goes on. And then who else have you got there? You've got 2 either side, which I think will be Hamed Traore and Justin Kluivert. We've gone with different players originally, like David Brooks, Jayden Anthony, but I think they'll likely be involved. And then elsewhere, yeah, you're looking at Dom Solanke up front for us as well. I think I've covered off every player that needs to be in there. So yeah, my score prediction is going to be 3-2 Bournemouth. I mean, obviously it's more in hope than expectation, but I'm going to go for 3-2 Bournemouth. I think it's going to be a game that's a really entertaining one. Obviously, they've looked at the games last season where there were 10 goals. And yeah, I think Spurs look great, but defensively I feel as though you can still be got at. But then that goes the same for us as well. Home advantage might come into play, but other than that, I'm going to be keeping my eyes on Spurs this season. I think could be a really successful season for them. I sort of thought they wouldn't push for Champions League. They could do. You could do. So yeah, really intrigued to see how it goes. But anyway, good luck, safe travels if you're coming down, and yeah, let's hope for a very good game and 3 points for the Cherries.